Surveys consistently show politicians to be less trusted than estate agents or journalists. In recent years, the average prices of household items across Nigeria surged by over 100%, causing inflation to accelerate to 20.03 in September, the worst in the last 1.5 decades. This should be some of the focus of our politicians in the forthcoming election and the future. Politicians should avoid deception in the promises to the Nigerian people. As we are now preparing for 2023, political ecstasy has broken out on all sides as saying they want to turn Nigeria into heaven on earth. Nigerian politicians are very good at getting power, but the problem starts when it's time to use the power to make Nigeria better. You then begin to hear excuses. Nigerians to refresh the memory so that we do not get deceived again. When Nigerian politicians are strategizing for elections or to descend on their rivals, they hardly sleep or eat. They hold meetings all over the country. They know the best lawyers in town. They will go any length to win elections. They will whip up ethnic and religious sentiment to achieve their purpose. But when they get to the office, the story changes. Politicians should replicate the politicking passion and commitment in governance. Imagine governors and commissioners meeting day and night, discussing how to tackle issues around healthcare, education, sanitation, water, roads and gender development. Nigeria will be unbeatable. Politicians should be interested in the purpose of politics, which is to make the citizens live the best of lives, in the words of Socrates. Politicians shouldn't weaponize poverty. Politicians will succeed at unifying the different groups in the country if they are not based on self-interest. The role of a politician: propose, support, reject and create law that govern the land and by extension its people. Politicians are a vital component in our democratic system, and their accountability makes a democratic system. In conclusion, politicians are supposed to create a communion of interests between the representative and the electorate upon which they rely. The major role and justification for politicians in government is in making decisions or reconciliations between conflicting or competing interests and ultimately being accountable to the public for such decisions. Remember, a liberal knows the only certainty in life is change, and change can be directed towards a constructive end.
You're welcome back. It's still Voters Forum, your Saturday tonic. There is a light of politics. Tell your people that have not heard about it that they should come. Like we normally say, come and see, oh, come and see, come and hear, oh, come and hear. This is magic, this is wonder. We will break the thing down. Those of you who were in the first segment, you saw how Nelson broke the role of traditional rulers down. He's still going to do the same. He's still in the studio. But in between, some people have started engaging him. And of course, it's good. That's the essence of this program. Through that engagement, you'll be educated. So what you don't know, he will now throw more light into it. That's what you want, but he will do it for you. Yeah, what's the question, my sister?
Yes, this one, well, you have no name and no location, so
I foresee you know read that.
Well, I love the angle.
Next time, please, whoever, your name and your location, very important. Please.
Very key, very key. Okay, this one says, good afternoon, Barrister Wale, but I disagree with your guess. It is impossible to see a traditional ruler who is politically neutral. If you can mention any traditional ruler in the Yoruba land who is not a partisan, I would tell Mr. Nelson the party the king or Oba belongs to.
No, we said it earlier. He was not listening to us. He was not watching us carefully. We said it that we are all human, we are all political animals. That as a father, even though we have our own back, it's just like when we conduct elections. You know, there was this election we had in Edo State in 2016, and Prof was the chief returning officer. And when one of the party's agents was trying to cause uproar within the at the collation center, the collation officer chief returning officer now told him that, my friend, sit down. We all here, we are political animals. We have our biases, but when we are doing this job, we keep our biases behind us. There's no, like we said, there's nobody that does not have a bias. But when you have taken up a professional job, an office, you keep your bias aside. You ensure that you go according to the dictates of the office, or else you'll be running foul of the law. So that a traditional ruler has a bias towards a party is allowed.
I have a bias towards a party.
Yes.
You have one.
I have, but
she has one.
But the traditional is just like when you go to the church as a candidate. The father will pray for everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
He will not say, sinners, go with this side. I'm not praying for you. It is only the born again. No. The church or the mosque prays for everybody, so that we all become good citizens. So the traditional ruler also plays that role. He has his own bias, but he will not bring it to the fore.
It's okay.
Okay.
I hope there is nobody tackling.
No, nobody's tackling for now.
Please, we want you to tackle him seriously before he goes away. It's not easy to get to. Nelson.
Yeah.
The politicians.
Yes.
What role do they play in an election? Or, of course, you know, the election now is not just on voting day. Before, during, and even after the election. So just break it down for us gradually.
The politician, is somebody who is actively engaged in politicking. The politician plays several roles, both the legal role and the illegal role, both the right thing and the wrong thing.
You teach us everything.
Yes, the essence of elections, a party's major trust in contesting an election is to win. And for quite a lot of them, either hook or crook, they want to win, not minding them going against the law if they can escape it. But what's so good, we operate a constitutional democracy, and that constitutional democracy stipulates guidelines. That is why you see that before the parties started their campaigns, INEC gave the guidelines. This is the time you can start a political campaign. This is the time you must conduct your party primaries. This is the time you should submit your names of your candidates. So there are rules to be followed. But some of them try to circumvent this rule. I was watching the INEC chairman about a week or two ago, whereby he said they have about 62 petitions from political parties telling them to ensure that their candidate's name is enlisted. Meanwhile, INEC has a guideline of when you should submit your candidate. If INEC says submit your candidate name on Monday, you are now bringing the name on Friday. You have broken the law. The name will not be accepted. But they are trying to twist INEC. But INEC, knowing fully well that she is protected by the law, that she is a product of the law. The law has stipulated INEC should walk the path. INEC is making sure she toes that part of constitutionality, such that at the end of the day she will not be found wanting. So the role of the politicians are many. The role of the politicians is to campaign, is to mobilize, is to canvass, is to go and vote, as well as ensure that she has its eyes and nose at the polling stations on election day, and if possible, even during the voting period, that it is not allowed for you to vote. Politicians will come to a corner not too far from the polling station, enticing people through hook or crook. Vote for my party. This is what you get. Like we have a very sour experience of vote buying, where even we as election observers, when we see things like that, and we tell the politician, move away from here, the man will stand somewhere, will signal somebody else that even you, in fact, at an election, the last election in was it Ekiti or Osun?
Ekiti.
It was those, you see.
No, Osun.
Osun, it was Osun. You see, the system has to be moving at a geometrical progression, because the politicians are not sleeping. They are looking for every means to outshine one another. In one of the elections that I observed, in fact, at the polling station, there was no trading going on, I must confess. It was solely by sign language. If you don't observe carefully, you won't know that a message is being passed and people were decoding it and they were playing ball.
Wow.
So if you have developed the means that don't come to the polling station and in the past, because of the menace of vote buying, INEC put out a regulation that you should not go into the polling booths, into the polling cubicle with your phone, because some voters, they will go there after voting, they will snap their ballot paper and go and trade with it.
Yeah.
So because INEC now said that is not allowed, people now devise on them. You see somebody with, after completing the ballot paper, the voter will come out and behave as if
He's stretching the
he's stretching him. He's showing somebody that, look, I've played my own part too. I'm coming back to to call what we agreed to. And under the law, you cannot tell him not to stretch his ballot paper. It's not your ballot paper, it's his own. So he has the right to the ballot paper.
Wow.
So the politicians and the voters, they are two interesting actors in the elections. They are two interesting actors. And the society has become such that you get to polling stations at times on election day and you see voters looking left, looking right.
For who to engage?
Who to engage? At one of the elections, at one election in one of the states, a voter told us that he collected 11,000 naira. I was like, how? He said party A gave him 5,000. Party B gave him 4,000. He was smart. You can see the smartness. Then there was a case of one mama. Party A gave her 5,000. So when she was going to vote, she voted for Party B. Party B now gave her 8,000. So that mama was very honest. She now went to Party A and said, take your 5,000. I didn't vote for you. I voted
for the highest bidder.
Wow.
It's so bad. These are not things that are complimentary to us as a people.
Yes.
But be that as it may, the politician will use every hook or crook means to subvert the process.
I want to ask a question. Sorry, Barrister. I want to ask a question. Why do the politicians usually use poverty as a tool for elections or during the elections? Why do they are very common with this aspect, poverty?
No, I don't think the politician is using poverty. It is the ignorance of the voters that they are, capitalizing on.
Okay.
Because you expect that when a voter is going to the polling station, he or she must have been conversant with the programs, with the manifesto of a party, that this is what this party stands for. This is what I want. But we operate a society today whereby everything is about me. A voter will tell you, if I no collect money on that day, I no go. You are like, whatever you are giving on that day. The misbehavior of the politician is the outcome of the conduct of the voters. If the voters are not ready to collect money to vote, the politician will not come and induce them. They are the ones who I will go to a polling station and a voter will come. No politician has approached him and he's looking at what is he looking for? The campaigns for the election has been on for over 3 months.
Sorry to break it. I was in a polling unit one day. We'll put on our jacket,
yes,
which even now puts us seriously.
Yes, exposed us.
Yes, that we are not politicians.
Yes.
The person came and met me. Oga, I want vote. Who I could vote for? You got I hear say somebody hold the money. Now you go.
What?
No, that is it.
Give the money.
That is it.
Did you experience something?
We've seen it now. That's why I'm saying the party. Okay, for now, the general election is coming up in February. The parties are out there in the field campaigning. You expect the voters to make themselves conversant with the manifesto and interrogate their candidates. But the voters don't want to listen. When you are running the campaign, all the voters are looking at is your pocket. They are not ready to listen to
what they are
my
saying.
Brother. If you finish what they are saying, please come down
and bring that thing.
Wow.
So when people, a lot of times when people lambast the politician, I always ask them, this politician we are talking about, did they fall from heaven? Are they not from our homes? The politicians are exhibiting our characters. That somebody will go to the polling station after voting, we expect that you should give him something, you know, to go and take care of himself. And you're like, are you voting for me to take care of you today or for the future? So the politician plays so many roles. Like I said, he plays the conventional role, he plays the unconventional role because he knows that he has willing accomplices, willing conspirators among all the stakeholders. So it is now left for the society, for the people themselves, to wake up and recognize that democracy is not about I, it is about we.
I will not want us to talk about the conspiracy amongst various stakeholders. The police, with the politician compromising the police,
Yes.
INEC officers, even sometimes in some cases to traditional rulers, some opinion molders in community, in some cases even faith leaders too. The politicians will do anything, just as you said, legal or illegal, normal or abnormal. We will not go to that aspect today because time is a very big issue. We'll bring you back again to open that one for us. But this one now, let us now look what role positively will the politicians play for the development, because now our destiny is in their hands.
Yes.
That's what the Constitution reads, that all persons in government, and they are the one that forms government, that they should give us security and good governance. What is that major role? How can they go about it?
Well, the way they can go about it is for them to propagate their manifesto. A political party contesting an election or a politician running for an office should be able to come out and say, if you vote me into office, this is what I will do. And when he tells you this is what I will do, it is now imperative on the society itself to ask him, how will you do it? What is the method? It is not enough for somebody to just some of these candidates are meeting with various stakeholders, and stakeholders are asking a presidential candidate, we want state police, and I'm like, is it that we don't have knowledge? The president cannot decree state police now. It is the National Assembly and the state assemblies that will make the laws in that regard. The electorate themselves are even asking some questions
of ignorance
that does not show that they know what they are asking about.
That's why this program is.
Yeah, so our role now is to educate them that, look, some of the things, that is why it is important for us as a people to recognize that every elective post is critical to our existence. Don't say, you know, we have this bad attitude in the past. Once you vote for the president, you say, I don't want to vote again. I don't know who is going for senator. Without the senator, without the House of Representatives, without the local government chairman and his councillors, government will not function.
They are the grassroots people.
Because Mr. President or Mr. Governor cannot make a law and sign it. The Constitution does not give him the power. If he has any idea of a law, he will pass it. He can send it to the House of Assembly or the National Assembly through an executive bill. It is that bill that the House will debate. It is the responsibility of the House to debate and pass that law. Once the House passes that bill, immediately Mr. President or Mr. Governor assents to it. It becomes a law. Without his assent, it's still a bill.
It's not a law.
It's not a law. It's still a bill. So the responsibility of politicians is to engage with the electorate, to educate them about what they have in stock. The politician is now the product that he wants the electorate to buy. It is now for him to educate them why what he's holding, what he wants to sell, should appeal to them through education, through sensitization, through conventional media and non-conventional media. And God so good, we are in the modern age where we are using phones now. Whatever you ask.
Should the politician in the course of this mobilization or activities do a personal contact? Because in other climes, irrespective of the fact that they have modern technology, they have the social media. We see politicians themselves going house to house, not these ones that they use proxy, or even we don't see politicians going house to house on election day or in this period now. Maybe they will just land in the zero state capitals and do one or two.
But if you recollect in 2019 and 15, I don't know whether it has happened. I'm sure some of our viewers will be witness to it. You will receive a phone call telling you, please, on a social election day, we want you to vote for candidate A. This is, those are personal contact as well.
Okay.
So yes, it's happening. And messages, they will send you text messages,
Yes.
because absolutely the politician or the political parties cannot reach everybody.
Yes.
The time is not available. They don't have the means to do that. So because they know that a large proportion of our population are holding smartphones, so they are now using the smartphones to interface with us. So it is important that as they do these campaigns, because for some of us, campaigns are more of a merriment. The real issue is when they reel out their manifestos. When they reel out their manifestos, it is now for us to ask questions, and when you are convinced, you go with them.